Hello Flutter developer, welcome to my channel about Flutter development. Today's video is about understanding Flutter pop-up menu button widget. So, what is a pop-up menu button widget? This is a widget that we use to create the menus. Specifically, we use it for the settings. So in today's video, we'll see how we can implement pop-up menu button widget using it in a stateful way and in a stateless manner. So in a stateful widget manner, we'll be using it as a setting menu, and will show a bunch of links. In this case, it's home, GitHub, videos, and jobs. And clicking on in each of it will display what kind of link is clicked. So that's the expected behavior. And about the stateless widgets, clicking on any link, it will open a particular link in a given web view. So why is this different? So in this video, we'll see when to use which kind of widget, if it makes sense to use stateful widget or a stateless widget. So as you have seen here, in the stateful widget, we have we have updated the widgets on the screen right here in the children widget of the parent widget. So if you have a use case where you want to update bunch of widget on the same screen, in that case you may want to use the stateful widget pop-up menu button in a stateful widget. But if you want to implement a setting where you want to achieve a navigational kind of workflow, then a stateless widget in combination with pop-up menu button would make more sense. So in this video, we'll touch up few other aspects of Flutter other than the pop-up menu button. And one of these things, how we do the routing, as like how we clicking on this link and how the page routing Flutter page navigation works. And the another widget that we will quickly go over is the web view. How to support web views in Android and iOS using Flutter. So let's get started. So my video it's a companion video for this article that I published on my blog, Understanding Flutter Pop-up Menu Button Widget. I have written it as a recipe. So the recipe says implementing settings menu using pop-up menu button widget in a stateless versus stateless. Sorry, I have to update it. It says stateless versus stateless manner. It has actually stateless versus stateful manner. I will edit it. And the focus widget of the day is pop-up menu button widget. If you click on it, you can go and check out. It's an official documentation. So this is the class which does here. So in this case, I will be creating two stateless and stateful widgets. And the screen is simple. It has a blank screen which has an app bar right here. This is the area that we want to update our data, our link information is, what the choice we have made. And that's pretty much in this one. So we'll see in the step when it comes to the stateless implementation, we really cannot update the chosen link. So if you look into the code here, right here, so this is how we implement the pop-up menu button for implementing settings. So this is my app bar. This is scaffold, and in that I have my app bar, and this is my title, pop-up menu button, and I say stateless. This is to create this topmost component. And then in the app bar itself, I will add these 4 links. In 4 links, so I'm using item builder, and I have used an enum class to keep track of my nav links. In a bit, I will go over to head to the Android Studio to show you this code in action. and this is my nav links, and I iterate over it and I add one menu by one menu. So in here I have all selected, and when you a pop-up button pop-up menu items value is selected, is chosen, it will print the value. So it would work, it would print the value to the console. However, the choice which I'm using right here in my body text to update my text would not work in a stateless widget. So to show the even interesting use case where how we can make use of pop-up menu button in combination with stateless widget, I have used a navigation. I've chosen to open this link in a web view. So this is how we will open a link in a web view. In the web view arguments, so I will show you the code how this could be done in a bit. And there is a one little caveat in iOS to support iOS web views. You have to head over to the Xcode project to enable the web views for iOS, and you have to add this ioflutter.embedded_views_preview key and have to select a boolean value yes for it. And now in stateful widgets, as you see, is the very same UI. Only thing is the implementation is different internally, and when you click on a link, it will print the value of that particular link. So if you see here in the pop-up menu button stateful widget, you have to create a state class. You can read more about stateful and stateless widgets in the link provided below. In here, my focus is to show the comparison of stateful and stateless widgets in combination with pop-up menu button, and how they are different, and when it makes sense to use one over another. So in here, in the pop-up in the onSelected state, you see this set state. So this is the method which is responsible of updating the child widgets on the same screen. So yes, it of course it prints the value to console. In addition, it updates the choice which is right here. And as you see here in the top, it updated. And the web variant, if you're interested in checking out the web variant, I have written another article about that, which is available right here. It's right here. So this is the same code, and it also talks about how to fix the material icons for the Hummingbird because they are not supported by default. It's right here. And in web, you might have to do, however, a few more things. You may have to add the you can see I'll put the link in the video below here, how to get started with the web Hummingbird variant of Flutter. And in addition to that, to fix the icons in here, you might want to follow through these directions. So it's nothing but we are making Flutter aware that we have icon which are missing. We have to provide it separately. That's what we are doing here. So we are providing material icons explicitly for the web variant. And you can check out the code in the link below here. So it's in this link here, and for native apps, it's right here. All right, let's head back to the code now. All right, this is my code here for native, and I'm using iOS simulator to demonstrate this particular example. And here I have my code structure goes like this. I have SF menus folder. I have put both my pop-up menu button and pop-up menu button stateless. The SF I abbreviated for stateful implementation, and the SL I use for the stateless widget. And it has home screen. So let's talk about little bit navigation, the way I'm handling the navigation in this particular app. So my home is a just a list of these two variants, pop-up menu button and stateless. So if I run it in my simulator, it's syncing and starting here, and it's right here. So this is what my main home dart is doing. So it's creating the list of two items, stateful and stateless. I'm doing so big so that I can click on it and can get to the screen for stateful versus stateless. And this is where my menu items comes. So both have these settings icon right here. All right, so let's go over code quickly here, what every component is doing here. So as usual, we have app bar here and a list view. This list view is not dynamic. That means I am adding my list tiles individually because I know it's 2 here. All right, so it's stateful, and this is my stateless. And my main dart, is the first main component with an entry point of a Flutter app. So if you see it closely, this is a usual my app here, and the different thing here is these two components, on generate route and initial route. So this is how I'm handling my routing in this particular app. So if you see this router.generate route, so this is my own created class. So you see router.dart, which is nothing but this class, this file. So what I do here, I give a name for my each screen. So for home is a slash, for pop-up menu button SL means stateless and SF is stateful, and I give the path starting with slash to these components. And a web view, I will show in a bit how I'm doing web view, but web view I'm using to show the page from that was navigated from my stateless widget. So generate route, I have a method here, generate route, and I pass route settings in it. I'm just printing it for my debugging purpose, but it's not needed. And in home, I make use of material page route and a builder, and give a link to my home page, which is, if I click on it, I'll go to the home. So home, and this is my home.dart is my home. So if I go on home, I will go back to my starting screen. Now this is a switch case which pretty much picks up whatever the routing information is coming, whatever routing name is passed, and it will pick up that particular page. So that's all I'm doing here. In the stateful, you see pop-up menu button stateful, which is where I am defining my stateful behavior for my implementing pop-up menu button. And in the stateless, if you click on it, you will go in stateless. And however, you might see this unknown.dart. So this is for the things which are not handled. So if someone clicks, if by mistake I have a link and I don't have a definition for I don't have a page defined for that particular recipe, then it will come here. It will not really, it's like to handle a navigation gracefully for the unknown cases. And for web views, we have a little slightly different thing here in the web view. So you might see in the material page route, we are doing as usual as we are doing here. We are opening the web view, but there's one more thing we are doing. We are passing the arguments. So why we do that? We do that if my page needs a particular information in order to render contents in that particular page. So my web view, I needs a title that I want it to display, and in addition to title, I need a URL that I want my web page to show me. That's why I'm using my web view page, web view arguments right here. So let's go dig in web view arguments. Click on it, go inside. So that's my web view dart, and web view dart is right here. And I will be opening all the links in a web view from a stateless pop-up menu button widget implementation of the settings menu. So here in the build, it's a scaffold here. So there are like two things going on here. One, I'm opening the web view, and the another thing, I'm passing the web view arguments. So for a web view arguments, it's just a class that to keep my all the arguments in one together, title and URL, and it has a constructor. That's it in that one. And now you see in my web view, I have to be able to handle these variants. I have title and URL passed as a constructor to my web view. So that's the part deals with handling the parameters passed to in the navigation. So let's see how it's being passed down to web view. Let's go to our stateless pop-up widget menu. In here, you see the navigate. Will be opening this on select from the on selected, and in the push we will use the push name. So web view is a string. That's actually this. The web view is just a name, just a string identifier. And going back here, I'm creating the arguments, web view arguments right here. And here's the title. My display string and link URL is nothing but a utility methods to give it a better name and to extract the URL. Let's quickly go over here. So it's a switch case, and it's just giving more readability for my display string from enum. Because for enum, if I use just enum, it will just use navlinks.home, navlinks.github, or so on. To be able to give it a more readable, human readable name, I use this way of doing so. I'm not sure if there's another way, better way of doing this. If it is, please leave the comment. And in the link URL, I'm doing the same, but I'm returning a URL. So that's pretty much to it. And now going back to my stateless, here in the web view argument, I'm passing title and URL. So that's how my navigator knows what to call. So whatever the thing is passed here in the push name is picked up by my router here. And how router knows that I have to pick it up? That happens the very in the beginning. We said in our main dart that are on the route generate. So it happens because it knows the router.generate route is given in our application. So whatever thing is passed down to the navigator dot push name goes and resolves here, and it goes back to the router. It goes here because of our configuration in the main dart, and it picks up past the data to the particular page. So this is how the navigation works in this particular sample app. And there is another variant where you can use the push only, but it's not covered here. If you are using only push, then you might want to use the media route.off context settings and arguments. So it automatically picks up, but I'm not covering it here. If you want me to make another video about how to just about the navigation, please leave the comments down in the comment section. I will be happy to do so. And so that's all is the routing. So now let's briefly review the web view, how we do the web view. So for web view, first thing you have to do, add the dependency. So in the web view Flutter, so I'm using this version, web view Flutter 0310+3. And once you have it, I created a web view class here, my web view, and it's a stateless widget because it just does one thing. It just does render the URL that you pass it to and the title. It doesn't make any change in here, in this particular page. So in here, so how you do it, I have my app bar. So I want my title to be shown like here. If I go back to my simulator and I go in stateless, so I go here, I say GitHub. I want my app bar to show, to be title to be shown here, and I want in my body the URL component web page to be loaded. So that's what we are doing here. So in the body, we are loading the web view. In the app bar, we are showing the title. And the JavaScript mode is unrestricted, basically is disabled by default. So here I'm showing you a little glimpse of WebView, how to get started with WebView. But if you want me to make a video just about WebViews, please leave your comments down in below this video, and I will be happy to show the more cases for WebView. But for this particular exercise, that's what we will be doing. We'll be just showing the title and the WebView down there. All right, so this is the whole site supporting thing for this particular recipe. The web views and navigational thing comes as like an extra thing. But let's go back to our stateless and stateful. So let's go over stateful first because it just feels more intuitive. So let's go over the code right here. So I created my class PopupMenuButton Widget Stateful. It's a stateful widget class. It has a create state component as we do it, and it has a state right here, and it has a default text that we show in our right here. So let's go stateful. This is the text we are showing right here. Click settings to make your selection. So basically it's asking you to click here and make your selection. And now how we do get these pop-up items. So in here we are defining our links in navlinks enum class. So if you click in it, this is my navlinks enum class, and which has 4 type of menu items: home, GitHub, videos, and jobs. So how I do it, I go in the actions. So actions is the attribute which can add the menu items in the settings of a app bar. So it's a widget, it takes an array, and it could be something else too, some other widget too. It doesn't have to be pop-up menu button, but in this case I'm using pop-up menu button, and I'm using item builder to do so, to make it more dynamic. So navlinks.values, I need a list of values to be trade on, and doing a map of this and getting the link and creating a pop-up menu item for each link. So this value is link, and the child display string is just a utility method to make it look not navlinks.home but just home. And after all, at the last I'm creating a list, converting my map to a list. So my item builder expect a list. So that's all in here. And also I'm doing one thing in onSelected. So when a value in navlink is selected, it goes in a set state and it prints the value to console. And another thing, it updates the choice. And this is where I'm putting my choice here. It's a dynamic and it changes. So let's see what it does. And I go in here. All right, so let's run it. So go here, and you have to be in the run prompt, and everything is logged here. And go here, and let's do it again. You see the stateful SF came, and now in here say GitHub. So navlinks.github is printed here in the console right here, and also right here. So this is about stateful. Stateful can change the state of its children widgets right here on the same. It holds the state and it can support the dynamic state. Now let's move to the stateless. So stateless is this one. So you can see it's the very same class right here. It's the choice is here, pop-up menu item is here, even the code is here. This code, let's see, just remove this code right here for a second and just keep it matched to the stateful, and let's run it again. So it's syncing, activating, and let's see, it's right here, and let's go stateless. So as you see, let's make this screen a little bigger. All right, so you see it started the stateless, and this is my menu, and I'm selecting my GitHub, and as you see, navlinks.github is displayed in the terminal, but nothing happened here. because it's a stateless widget. In stateless widget, you cannot change the properties in the runtime. And in Stateful, we are able to do so because we have a set state method there, and we keep a track of a state as we've seen in the Stateful right here. So it's because of this state that we create, and that keeps track of the state, and whatever we write inside the set state, it changes the value, updates the value of a widget tree. All right. So now it was pretty actually boring to show it, to demonstrate this functionality here. That's why I added the web view, uh, just to give it more nicer feel to it, like it's something it happens, or why we use it anyway. Like we do not want to use a stateless just to be able to print it in the terminal. So for that case, I hooked up the web view with this navigator. So now let's run it and let's quickly check it. It got hot reloaded, and there you go. So it picked up the web view. As you see, it printed here. It picked up the web view, passed the arguments, and that's where my repository is. So that's pretty much to this. And if you're interested in checking out Hummingbird implementation that I wrote in the right here in my this tutorial, and it also is available in the source code right here, which is right here. So we'll quickly go over so that I don't have to change the branch at the moment. And is the very same structure, you SL and SF right here, and just let's quickly go over. It's the very same, everything is same, it's just printed. So you may want to go over and make sure you run the Flutter clean before after you change the branch. So this is how the branch structure look like here. So it's the pop-up menu button web, has the web implementation for Hummingbird, and pop-up menu button is for the iOS and Android. Yeah, so that's pretty much I wanted to cover in this particular video. And so what we did it, just to reiterate again, we did it in a stateful and stateless manner. In a stateful, we can keep track of the state of the widgets and can update any part of the screen inside the set state method. Whereas in the stateless widgets, we may want to use it when we know it that our state will not change very frequently. Our components within the same page will not change frequently, and where you want to compose a particular state, particular widget in its own properties. For example, the raised button or any flat button, where it has its own specific properties and that doesn't change very frequently. Or so navigation, to provide the navigation to the different pages could be a one use case that I've used here. And if you know other use cases, feel free to leave a comment down there. I would love to explore and write or make video about that. Would be happy to do so. So thank you for watching my video, and have fun. I hope you liked the video about understanding Flutter pop-up menu button widget. See you next video. Thank you very much.